If you don't live in a cave, you know who Bad Bunny is, a reggaeton and trap artist that everybody knows, even if you don't speak Spanish. He released a new album that includes a song called Café con Ron, and man, that song is perfect for Latin tech, so let's remix it. If you don't know the song, it sounds like this.
Por la mañana café, por la tarde ron, ya estamos en la calle, sal de tu balcón. Por la mañana café, por la tarde ron, ya estamos en la calle, sal de tu balcón. De Arecibo hasta Ponce, de Fajardo.
No, this part, no. We need Latin tech. Alright, so I'm gonna make it straight to the drop. So this is gonna be the build up, and here is gonna start the drop. So let's kill all of this. Bam. I also got the vocal without the instrumental, but here it has some shakers that I like so much, and obviously in the vocals I don't have them. So, well, I'm gonna keep this part for the build up and then this one for the drop. But here I don't really want the shakers, so let's do something like this. Now we need good drums. I found this kick that is good, but it has some rumble thing here that I don't like. So I'm gonna do it like this, but now it's just the punch, which I like, but it doesn't have bass. So we need another kick, and I have this one here. So them two together, good kick. And a really important tip for layering kicks. What you need to do is zoom as much as possible and make sure that when one goes up, the other one also goes up. Okay, what you cannot have is something like this, that here is going up and here is going down, because otherwise they're gonna cancel each other. So you can move them left and right to match them, or you can open it and click on reverse polarity. That basically flips the waveform. Let's add the hi-hat and clap. But most of the time this is not gonna sound good enough. Add some layers, other hi-hats, other claps that maybe add something that these ones doesn't have. For example, this hi-hat is good, but it's mono. So I decided to add this one, that with this knob I put it to the sides. So now we go from this to this. It's pretty quiet. Maybe you don't really hear the difference, but it's doing a difference on the sides. And same thing for the clap. This one is good, but it's mono. So I decided to add this one that is a bit wider and also has another character. And look, this loop has this clap here that is gonna add a lot of groove to the song. And I also found this other loop that has this one here, that what I'm gonna do is just keep this one. So now it's even groovier. But here comes the producer fight. A lot of producers say, using loops is cheating, that's not good, you're not a producer, you're bullshit, blah 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 blah. My opinion? Shut up. Loops are good. They can help you on getting ideas for a drum loop, in this case, that you maybe didn't have. It can add another groove that improves the song so much. It can make your drum loop sound a lot fuller and fatter. So if it fits, if it works, just use it. So I found this drum loop that fits so well in this track. But I'm gonna reduce a bit the release, so this way it's a bit tighter. And also I want to have this short sidechain, so this way I make sure at the beginning of the loop, it doesn't sound so it doesn't clash with the tag of the kick. This way the kick has more space. Tag without and with. I also found this other one, which is good, but what I'm gonna do is just keep the beginning. I'm gonna pan it a bit to the right and just have it maybe every 2 bars. So it's not all the time the same. Let's see how this works with the vocal. The vibe feels perfect. But something extremely important together with the drums in Latin tech or tech house in general is the bass. I have this sound, and let's make just a rhythm. Maybe something like this, simple. Put this higher. Maybe more groovy, maybe this shorter. So let's take this, duplicate it, and maybe at the end I'm gonna change it. I don't like when it's exactly the same the whole time. So I'm gonna take this and put it 4 semitones down, and this one 2 semitones down. Let's saturate it, and maybe remove this. And I decided to cut the highs because I just want the bass for this. I'm gonna add mid bass later. And check what I'm doing here. In this area, if we don't have this EQ, as you can see, especially at the beginning, you see how deep it gets? Gets super low. So I'm boosting it with this EQ, but then in the parts that is not needed, I have dynamic EQ, minus 8 dB of dynamic EQ to keep it flat so it's not affecting when there's enough frequencies there. Then I'm gonna use this preset. And this preset that if you pay attention, you can hear first that are quite similar but not exactly the same, but also one is at the right and one is at the left. Why? Because I wanted a kind of more with sound, but both presets are mono, so I just decided to pan them. It sounds groovy. There's something I love to use in all my tracks, it doesn't matter the genre, and it's atmosphere sounds. Actually, I have an atmosphere sample pack, and I'm making another one. So I found these two. Kind of vocal drone, and this one that is gonna cover so well the low end. But to make it more fancy, I'm gonna add this gross beat on the vocal one, so now it's like this. Check with and without. Way better. I'm gonna use this drum fill to introduce a drop, and this one maybe I can use it in the middle or something, or I don't like this. Maybe like this. But you know, when the drop starts, it's like, it's missing some energy. So what always helps is to add a downlifter. Check the difference. And I'm also gonna add this. Maybe I can have them here together with the change of the bass. Something like this. Now it's off key. Maybe I'm not gonna have this one that is longer, but I'm gonna keep this one. And of course in the right tones. I do not touch. And look what else I'm gonna add. I found these shots and I'm gonna add them at the beginning with this note that goes higher, but only here. Then I'm not gonna add it again. Why? Because if I add it every time, it's gonna be repetitive and boring. I just want in some parts. So first I start a drop with this shot, then I have this one here, then I don't have anything, and then I have these shots here. And I think for a drop, is enough. I'm just gonna add this extra drum blues for the second part of the drop. But of course we start the song basically with a build up, we have the drop directly, then we need a break. For the break I'm gonna use this part of the vocal.
El humo empañó el camino y no pude recordar.
And to be honest, I'm gonna make it quite basic. I'm gonna add more reverb to the vocal in the break.
El humo empañó el camino.
Then a wrist bass.
El humo empañó el camino.
To make it more interesting, I'm gonna add this pad. And the way I did this is so simple. I use this atmosphere sound from my soundband volume 2. I increase the attack so this way it takes longer to start and sound. But also with the LFOs I control the volume of the waveforms. For example, on this one, on 2 bars, I control the volume of the waveforms, the wavetables. But then with the LFO 4, I control the volume of the noise. Then ambient sounds and an impact. To make this more interesting, I'm gonna have a pitch bend down on the wrist bass and then up. So I turn it into a riser. And then on the vocal, I filter here a part of the vocal and I decided to make like a delay, but my own delay, you know, manually. That's it. With this, I'm gonna go directly to the build-up again. We add an impact to start the build-up, some snares. I decided to add some drums from the drop, but filtered. And opens the filter. At the middle of the build-up, I also add the kick, filtered. And increasing the volume. This adds a lot of energy. And finally, some downlifters and uplifters. Common things. But I did something different with the vocal. Check this. First, I'm filtering it with this automation. Together with the drums of the drop. But then, to give more energy at the end of the build-up, when it says this, I decided to take this and loop it with a volume automation. So here I have a space to introduce again the normal vocal of the pre-drop. and the drop starts again. So guys, this is how I made my remix of Café con Ron by Bad Bunny. Down below in the description you have a link to download it, to listen entirely. It's out on YouTube and SoundCloud, sadly not on Spotify, but you can download it. And actually it's been on the top of the house chart and also on the global chart. So your download is gonna help me so much to reach even higher. And if you like it, you know, just download it, and you can also play it in your live shows or DJ sets or with your friends, or just have it in your phone, whatever. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something new, and let's check the end result.
El humo empañó el camino y no pude recordar el camino pa' mi casa. Hoy me vuelves a invitar.
Yo me iba a quedar tranquilo, pero si quieres vacilar, sube tú pa' la montaña, porque hoy yo me quedo acá. Por la mañana.